Tomoki Sakurai, an ordinary high school student, is with his childhood friend Sohara Mitsuki. Tomoki falls asleep and begins to have a strange dream where someone asks for his help. Upon waking up from Tomoki's cries from his dream, Sohara's concern grew when she realized that it's his reoccurring dream again. They both decide to go to Eishirou Sugata, a strange but intelligent boy, for help. Once they arrive at Sugata's, Tomoki and Sohara tell him about Tomoki's dreams. After hearing him, Sugata concludes that beings from another universe are calling Tomoki. Sugata has studied similar theories and shows Tomoki a computerized schematic of the planet. In the model, there's a hole he calls the new continent. According to his studies, this could be a portal to another dimension. Sugata asks Tomoki and Sohara to meet at a specific point, to which only Tomoki arrives. When he's there, Tomoki receives a call from Sugata telling him to get away from that place since the hole is above him. As Tomoki leaves, something resembling a person falls from the sky along with a pile of rubble. Tomoki goes to save the girl who fell from the sky and decides to take her home. Once they arrive, the girl introduces herself as Ikaros, an Angeloid willing to take any command from her master, who turns out to be Tomoki. Tomoki takes advantage of Ikaros' abilities, and with his imagination befitting a high school boy, Tomoki orders her to make him invisible, be able to instantly touch some girls and make money. It was all fun and games until Tomoki says he wants the world to end as a joke. Ikaros thought it was an actual order, and she destroyed the world. Once Tomoki sees the results of his accidental wish, he tells Ikaros that he wants all of this to just be a dream. Ikaros fulfills his desire by returning everything to their first day. The next day, Sohara goes to Tomoki's house to pick him up to go to school. However, when Sohara enters, she finds a very compromising position between Tomoki and Ikaros. Although Tomoki tries to explain, Sohara gets upset and leaves for school without him. Before leaving, Ikaros grants Tomoki a card that can grant any wish Tomoki wants. Back in class, both friends make up, and Sohara learns about Ikaros' situation and tries to befriend her. As Tomoki and Sohara leave the room, she trips and gives Tomoki a panoramic view of her panties. However, Tomoki doesn't seem to like the panties she's wearing, and the card Ikaros gave him starts to glow. Suddenly, Sohara's panties fly off, and she smacks Tomoki, realizing it's his perversion to blame. Sohara goes to change, and Mikako Satsukatane, the school president, helps her put on a new pair of panties. However, no matter how hard Sohara tries to get dressed, any garment she tries gets blown up. The group concludes that the card conceded that Sohara only wears things Tomoki likes. To fix this, the girls go to an underwear store for Sohara to try on a few and see which one doesn't fly off. After several failed attempts, the girls finally find panties that Tomoki likes and break the wish. Days later, Tomoki and Sohara are doing math homework, but they get stuck and decide to ask Sugata for help. But since neither of them knows where he lives, they ask Mikako for help. Mikako takes them to his house at the edge of a river. Sugata explains math to them and invites them to stay. During their stay, Sugata hits Ikaros with a math problem, but she's somewhat intellectually lacking and cannot solve it. They all decide to send Ikaros to buy the ingredients for dinner, so she adapts to behaving like a human. Ikaros goes, and although she doesn't do the shopping very well, Tomoki congratulates her anyway. Tomoki and Sohara are about to fish for their dinner. Suddenly, Ikaros appears with a giant fish from South America. Sugata asks her how she got it, and she tells him that she can fly at supersonic speed. Everyone goes to sleep except Ikaros, and Sugata takes the opportunity to ask questions about who she is. Ikaros replies that she only came to serve Tomoki and that nothing else matters to her. Hearing this, Sugata tells her to enjoy and have fun with Tomoki. After several days, Tomoki wakes up and suddenly sees through the window how the panties from the other day were returning to his house. Tomoki, like a textbook pervert, begins to put them away. But Sohara enters the room, beats him up for his behavior, and also grabs one of Tomoki's wish cards to punish him. Since Tomoki and Sohara are neighbors, they usually talk from their rooms. Sohara asks if he got rid of the panties, and he lies to her, says yes while pulling one out from under his bed. Suddenly, an explosion comes from Tomoki's room since Sohara wished that if he touched or looked at any panty, it'd explode. Sohara laughs as she goes shopping with Ikaros. Meanwhile, Tomoki tries to leave, but his house is full of panties as decorations. After setting the place on fire and almost dying, Tomoki manages to get out and bumps into Sohara. Tripping, Tomoki sees Sohara's panties, which explode and send her flying into the burning house. Tomoki decides to enter the house to save her friend, though he blows up the house with the remaining panties in the process. After Tomoki's house explodes, he has nowhere to stay and decides to go to Sugata's house to stay in the meantime. However, they get attacked by bears and decide they can't stay there. Mikako, seeing her friend's predicament, invites Tomoki, Sohara, and Sugata to stay at her house. Arriving at Mikako's family's home, they realize that they're gangsters. Mikako's family is very polite until Tomoki decides to go to the bathroom and gets captured. It turns out that they have an ancient tradition that no one outside the family can use the bathroom in the house, and the punishment is to be decapitated. They're about to execute Tomoki, but Ikaros grabs the executioner's hand and stops him with out-of-this-world power. Seeing this, Mikako's grandfather, the mob boss, lets Tomoki go out alive. The next day, Mikako, Ikaros, Sugata, Sohara, and Tomoki wake up on a plane heading to Mikako's private island, since, thanks to Tomoki, they couldn't be in the house. As night falls, both Mikako and Sugata disappear, leaving Sohara and Tomoki alone, who are terrified by some sounds and decide to hide. After a month, the couple adapted to life on the island. Ikaros, who had gone to the other side of the world to find a tuna, arrives, and Tomoki tells him to look for their friends. Ikaros finds them hiding since the time on the island was Tomoki's punishment for entering the house's bathroom. Tomoki returns home once everything is cleared up and finds that Mikako's family built his house back. Tomoki is home when Nymph, another Angeloid, suddenly appears and doesn't explain why she's there. Nymph only says that she came to visit the human world. She's not like the same Angeloid as Ikaros, and she can express more feelings, making her look like a typical human. The group goes on a trip when they win a beach vacation at a fair. Everyone arrives and settles down to enjoy the day. Tomoki and Sohara plan to go sailing, but when Sohara leaves to get to the boat, Tomoki discovers Ikaros under the sea doing weird things. Tomoki scolds her and tells her that she might get caught, so he decides to teach her how to swim. Sohara gets jealous and goes into the water alone in the boat, where she begins to remember moments with Tomoki as children and suddenly falls far from the shore. Tomoki sees Sohara drown and decides to jump into the water to save her, and Nymph flies him closer to her. Once out of the water, the group goes to a house near the beach. Tomoki realizes that Ikaros doesn't sleep and goes out with her to the beach for a while so she can stretch her wings. Meanwhile, Nymph, who was out to spy on Tomoki, is attacked by some men. Tomoki tries to defend her, although in reality, Ikaros is the one who saves the day. When the master's in danger, she uses her power again, driving the men away. Summer vacation is over, and the group is back at school while Ikaros and Nymph stay at home. Nymph, upset about having to stay home, decides to use one of the wish cards to get into high school tuition and attend the same day. The wish annoys Tomoki, who has to wait since they'll be there at least until the end of the day. Once in class, Angeloids demonstrate superior intellect in all subjects. Even Ikaros, who was believedly stupid by Sugata, seems to be able to bring out her intelligence. Thanks to their performance, the girls get very popular at school, and admirers leave love letters in the girls' lockers. The situation confuses Ikaros since she can't feel emotions like love or anything like that. So when Ikaros is alone with Nymph, she analyzes her to understand why she isn't capable of feeling emotions like her. It turns out that all of the emotions and feelings that Ikaros have are blocked. Nymph explains that Ikaros is an ancient weapon of war used against humans in the past. Once Nymph tells her the truth, she also tells her that she came to return her to her true master. The group is excited as the fall festival was approaching. Everyone attends, they have fun, and Mikako, the festival hostess, offers everyone a battle royale with cork weapons and with a prize of 10 million yen. The crowd cheers thank you and begins to compete. Many participants lose, and Tomoki runs to avoid being eliminated but gets cornered by a group of people. As he's about to lose, Ikaros saves him by flying over with a cork machine gun, taking down the others. Tomoki scolds Ikaros, saying that this is cheating and that it's better for her to leave. Along the way, Ikaros meets Nymph, who attacks her to gain access to her memories, and makes Ikaros remember her past so she can return to her former master. To Nymph's bad luck, she unlocks Ikaros' features, activating her assassin mode. The two Angeloids fight, and when Ikaros is about to finish off Nymph, she asks her to leave her because she doesn't want to hurt her. Nymph leaves, promising to return to take her home to her true master. Meanwhile, Sohara was about to beat Tomoki at the game. Although, thanks to the brilliant idea of the one who distributed the game weapons, the gun Sohara had was real. When Sohara's about to shoot Tomoki, Ikaros appears and Tomoki takes advantage of the misunderstanding to eliminate Sohara. In the end, there are only two players left, Tomoki and the man who distributed the guns, and the two engage in a duel where the man wins. After the game, Tomoki scolds Ikaros for putting herself in danger to save him, and Ikaros begins to cry, shocking Tomoki. After being defeated, Nymph leaves for New Continent. When she arrives, she's tortured and humiliated by her master, who threatens to destroy her for not bringing back Ikaros. However, her master decides to give her one more chance to get Ikaros back. Back on Earth, the group was preparing to attend the town fairs. Nymph arrives to speak with Ikaros and tell her she doesn't come with bad intentions and wishes to stay for a while. Nymph manages to trick Ikaros and plans to take Tomoki hostage so that she can bring her to the New Continent. When Nymph is about to kidnap Tomoki, he notices her presence and tells her that he's worried about her. This confession makes Nymph feel good and forget about her goal for a moment. Tomoki needed money to buy a spicy magazine and tells Nymph to help him start a small business at the festival. Tomoki tries to sell everything from food, magazines, and even Sohara's panties to no avail. Tomoki tells Nymph to help him get clients, and she makes him irresistible to women. Thanks to Nymph's magic, Tomoki takes the opportunity to earn money for his magazine. However, the spells wear off and Tomoki gets beaten up by the girls. The school fair is coming, and the group decides to form a band to play against the rival school. The group begins to practice for several days to sharpen their talents on the instruments. The band competition was so significant that Mikako's family handed out flyers throughout the town advertising it. The rival school group does the same, creating great expectations and several groups of fans fighting over whom would do it better. During the week before the concert, Nymph begins to leave her master's orders behind and form a stronger friendship with Tomoki. Ikaros wasn't happy about his new friendship since she loved his master very much. The day of the concert arrives, and the rival school drives the public crazy. When it is Tomoki's group's turn, they do an unbelievable performance with Ikaros as the vocalist and win the contest. At the end of the event, both Sohara and Nymph wanted to go to the closing ceremony with Tomoki. However, they decided to allow Ikaros to go with him as a reward for all of her recent efforts to be more human. After the festival, Tomoki invites the girls out to a public spa. At first, they accept, but then they realize that Pervert planned to use one of Ikaros' cards to spy on them in the locker room. The group rejects the idea and takes the wish cards from Ikaros and Tomoki. Tomoki asks for Sugata's help, and he gives him a card that he had stolen from Ikaros. Tomoki transforms into a girl to fool the girls and get into the locker room. When Tomoki transforms into a girl, he has a limit he can't exceed, or he'll return to his male form. Ikaros offers to help Tomoki so he won't have any unpredicted transformations. Tomoki, disguised as a girl, gains the trust of his friends, and they agree to go with him to the spa. However, when Tomoki enters the girls' locker room, he begins to lose his mind, affecting his transformation. Although Ikaros tries to stop him, he still surpasses the limit, turning back into a boy in front of all of the girls. Sohara, upset by the situation, beats Tomoki up, leaving him to clean the bathrooms as punishment. On his way out, Tomoki runs into Ikaros, whom he thanks for always taking care of him and keeping an eye on him. Tomoki realizes that Ikaros isn't very expressive, so he tries to make her smile to make her seem more human. Tomoki tries many things, but he can't get Ikaros to smile even once. He then asks Sohara for help, who tries many things but fails as well. Short on options, Nymph, who also wanted to smile, asks Mikako for help, though they're unsuccessful. The boy's last option is to ask for Sugata's help, and he gives him a magazine showing how to have the perfect date, something that might make Ikaros happy. Nymph proposes the idea to Tomoki, so he agrees to take the two out on a date to see them smile. Once on the date, the three have fun, although he has no apparent success in making the Angeloids smile. Nymph reads in the magazine that dates should end with a kiss and tries to kiss Tomoki. The attempt upsets Ikaros, who flies away, and although Tomoki tries to stop her, he can't do it. Having no alternative, Tomoki tries to kiss Nymph, who apparently regrets it and runs away. However, Nymph runs away because she doesn't want to get attached and disobey her master's orders, so she says goodbye to Tomoki and returns to the new continent. As Nymph is on her way home, two Angeloids sent by her master confront her. They come to take Ikaros away and trick Nymph into luring Ikaros to take her away. Nymph accepts since they tell her that her master will be grateful when he's going to kill her instead. Meanwhile, the boys are getting ready for Christmas when Ikaros hears Nymph's call. Ikaros decides to leave and say goodbye to the boys, especially Tomoki. However, after seeing his friends go away, Tomoki and the others look for them throughout the city. Once Ikaros arrives with Nymph, she tries to convince Ikaros to leave with her peacefully. Suddenly, Ikaros gets attacked by the other two Angeloids, whose mission is to kill Ikaros. Nymph fights the Angeloids and saves Ikaros as they are about to finish off her friend. Unfortunately, their enemies attack Nymph back, ripping off her wings. Seeing this, Ikaros gets up and tries to save her when the group arrives to help her friends. A dying Ikaros gets motivated by words of encouragement from Tomoki, who tells her that he loves her. After hearing Tomoki's confession, Ikaros activates her weapon mode and starts fighting against the two Angeloids. As Ikaros fights, the boys take the opportunity to free Nymph. Ikaros defeats the enemies and they all celebrate together as a family after their victory. And that was Heaven's Lost Property Season 1 recap. If you enjoyed this recap, remember to hit that sub, click the like button, and comment down below to let me know what you think of the series. I'll see you on the next video.